All right, hello everybody. Today I am going to run through the assignments for our Cold War unit. There are 3 assignments. The first 2 not very long. The third one on Vietnam a little longer. So we'll go through those assignments, what you need to do, and how they operate. So let's take a look in classwork here. Our first assignment is L, Fear of Communism. There's some instructions here. Here's the assignment. And the questions you must answer for this. Number 1, many Americans clearly feared communism. This led people in our government to strip Americans of some rights. In what ways did the U.S. government end up taking away rights, citizens' rights during this time period? Provide at least 2 examples below, and each example should be at least 2 sentences. So out of our fear of communism, we do a lot of things in America, and our government does a lot of things that maybe aren't very good. Maybe they actually take away our rights. So you have to find, well, how were they taking away people's rights? So the second one, if you lived in this time period with so much fear about the Soviet Union and communism, how do you think life would be difficult? Write 1 paragraph. And third, America was the first to create and use the atomic bomb. How is this coming back to haunt us in the Cold War? Write at least 2 sentences. So for this, if we go to the Cold War, fear of communism, right here, L under Cold War. Read the introduction here that kind of talks about how this war kind of starts up, this Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. Here's a map that kind of shows who is with us and who is with the Soviet Union. And then you have a few things here. Number 1, this is really great to use. This video lecture, I run through the notes, kind of explain everything that we're talking about. If you also want to, you can always look as well at my actual notes over here that I've used for the unit in the past. And that'll help out as well, showing some of the things the government did that maybe weren't very good for our rights. And third, to really get a feel for this time period, these videos down here were created by the government or other agencies to help you to identify communists, to duck and cover so you didn't get killed by an atomic bomb, which probably wouldn't help you anyway. And this one looks at the Un-American Activities Committee and the Hollywood 10 and what happened there. So these sources should help you to answer those questions. Pretty straightforward. Let's go on to M, 100 things you should know about communism. Okay, for this one, there's 2 questions you have to answer. Number 1, how does the government want you to feel about communism, positive or negative? Provide 2 examples to support your answer. And if this is the only information that you have, this 1 document you're going to look at, how would you feel about communism? 1 paragraph. So for this, we are going to go to the Cold War, 100 things to know about communism. And you're going to choose one of these 3 documents. These documents were created by our government. They were disseminated to people to look at and read about, to learn more about communism, what it was like in the Soviet Union. This one talks about communism and religion. This one's communism in the government, and this one's communism in education. So you can choose to read any of these you want. When you do go in, though, I suggest that you kind of skip and pick what you want. You know, some of these, it's pretty easy to understand what they're saying. Others are a little bit more difficult, and so work with that. If you want to go the route of having it read to you with the audio, choose communism or religion. And if it doesn't, sometimes when you click on it, it doesn't work right away. If not, open a new window and 100 things you should know about. It plays just fine. So any of these 3 you can choose. And once you've done that, you can answer these 2 questions right here. That's the second assignment. The third assignment is difficulties in the Vietnam War. And basically what you're going to do is after you look at a lot of different sources of information, you're going to write 2 paragraphs explaining why it was so difficult to be an American soldier in the Vietnam War. What are some specific problems you'd face? Now for that, the Cold War page under difficulties in the Vietnam War, I have a ton of information for you. This video lecture here is really good to give you kind of a background of everything that's going on. This page over here is the notes that I used with that originally in class. So you can use those 2 together. And then I'd say, you know, decide upon what you're going to write about, and then watch some of these videos to give you more background. Whether it be the Viet Cong we were fighting against, the tunnels, the traps, Agent Orange, TV being really big back then, or an event like the My Lai massacre. You're going to choose some of these videos to give you some more background information. So definitely watch the video lecture. then use these down here and put all that information together to create at least a 2-paragraph response on why was the Vietnam War so difficult for American soldiers that had to fight there. So those are your 3 assignments. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me and we'll make sure that everything is understood. Thanks.